year with less than $400 in savings. Maybe you've lost hours, or maybe you're doing fewer shifts, driving a truck or caring for the kids or the elderly. You're out there putting your life on the line to work during this pandemic and worried every week that you get sick, lose your job, or worse. $2,000 is going to go a long way.
$2,000 is a long way. So it's like $1,400
so far. For struggling families by extending unemployment insurance beyond the end of March for millions of workers. That means that 18 million Americans currently rely on unemployment benefits while they look for work can count on these checks continuing to be there. Plus, there will be a $400 per week supplement so people can make ends meet.
Put it right here.
This gets money quickly into the pockets of millions of Americans who will spend it immediately on food and rent and other basic needs. As the economists tell us, that helps the whole economy grow. We'll also tackle the growing hunger crisis in America. As I speak, and the Vice President-elect has spoken to this many times, 1 in 7 households in America, more than 1 in 5 Black and Latino households in America, report they don't have enough food to eat. This includes 30 million adults and as many as 12 million children. It's wrong. It's tragic. It's unnecessary. It's unacceptable. So we're going to extend emergency nutritional assistance for 43 million children and their families.
So it looks like SNAP benefits.
The SNAP program.
SNAP benefits.
For the rest of this year. We'll help hard-hit restaurants prepare meals.
SNAP benefits are extended to September 30th.
Needed. We'll invest $3 billion in making sure mothers and their young children have the nutrition they need. This will not only meet our moral obligation we have to one another, but will also spur our economic growth, get restaurants and workers back on the job. And as we work to keep people from going hungry, we'll also work to keep a roof over their heads to stem the growing housing crisis and evictions that are looming. Approximately 14 million Americans are falling behind on rent.
We don't know when it's coming yet.
Many at risk of eviction. If we don't act now, there'll be a wave of evictions and foreclosures in the coming months.
We're talking about evictions now.
The pandemic rages on. This would overwhelm emergency shelters, increase COVID-19 infections as people have nowhere to go and can't socially distance. Next week, we'll take action to extend nationwide restrictions on evictions and foreclosures. This will provide more than 25 million Americans greater stability instead of living on the edge every single month. And I'm asking Congress to do its part, funding rental assistance for 14 million hard-hit families and tenants.
Rental assistance.
It will also be a bridge to economic recovery for countless mom and pop landlords. These crises are straining the budgets of states and cities and tribal communities that are forced to consider layoff and service restrictions on most needed workers. It means that people putting their lives at risk are the very people now at risk of losing their jobs. Police officers, firefighters, all first responders, nurses, educators. You know, over the last year alone, over 600,000 educators have lost their jobs in our cities and towns. Our rescue plan will provide emergency funding to keep these essential workers on the job.
Essential workers.
Maintain essential services. We will ensure that vaccines are administered and schools can reopen. President-elect Harris and I have been speaking with county officials, mayors, governors of both parties on a regular basis. We're ready to work with them, to help them get the relief they need. Our rescue plan will also help small businesses that are the engines of our economic growth, our economy as a whole. The glue that holds communities together as well. But they're hurting badly. And you realize they account for nearly half of the entire total U.S. workforce.
Yep.
Our rescue plan will provide flexible grants to help those hardest hit small businesses survive the pandemic. And a low-cost capital that will help entrepreneurs of all backgrounds create and maintain jobs, plus provide the essential goods and services that communities depend upon. Last week, I laid out how we'll make sure that our emergency small business relief is distributed swiftly and equitably, unlike the first time around. We're going to focus on small businesses on Main Street. We'll focus on minority-owned small businesses, women-owned small businesses, and finally having equal access to the resources they need to reopen and to rebuild. And we're responsible with taxpayers' dollars, ensuring accountability reduces waste and fraud and abuse like we did in the Recovery Act that I administered in our administration. Direct cash payments, extended unemployment insurance, rent relief, food assistance, keeping essential frontline workers on the job, aid to small businesses. These are the key elements to the American Rescue Plan that would lift 12 million Americans out of poverty and cut child poverty in half. That's 5 million children lifted out of poverty if we move. Our plan will reduce poverty in the Black community by 1/3, reduce poverty in the Hispanic community by almost 40%. It includes much more, like an increase in the minimum wage to at least $15 an hour. People tell me
he just announced increasing.
Florida just passed it. It's divided as that stated.
Biden just announced increasing minimum wage for $15 an hour. It's in his plan.
It should be a national minimum wage of $15 an hour.
15.
No one working 40 hours a week should live below the poverty line. That's what it means.
Is this one better?
For less than $15 an hour and work 40 hours a week.
Is it not lagging on YouTube?
It includes access to affordable childcare that will enable parents, particularly women, to get back to work. I look forward to working with members of Congress, both parties, to move quickly to get the American Rescue Plan to the American people. Then we can move with equal urgency and bipartisanship to my Build Back Better recovery plan that I will call for next month to generate even more economic growth. American manufacturing was the arsenal of democracy in World War II. It will be so again. Imagine the future. Made in America. All made in America and all by Americans. We'll use taxpayers' dollars to rebuild America. We'll buy American products, supporting millions of American manufacturing jobs.
He's going to use tax dollars to pay for this. Tax dollars.
Increasingly competitive world. Imagine historic investments in research and development to sharpen America's innovative edge in markets where global leadership is up for grabs. Markets like the battery technology, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, clean energy. Imagine confronting the climate crisis with American jobs and ingenuity leading the world. It's time to stop talking about infrastructure and to finally start building an infrastructure so we can be more competitive. Millions of good paying jobs that put Americans to work rebuilding our roads, our bridges, our ports, to make them more climate resilient, to make them faster, cheaper, cleaner, to transport American-made goods across our country and around the world. That's how we compete. And imagine millions of jobs in a caregiving economy to ease the financial burden of caring for young children and aged loved ones. Let's make sure our caregivers, mostly women of color, immigrants, have the same pay and dignity that they deserve. So we can do these bold, practical things now. I know what I just described does not come cheaply. The failure to do so will cost us dearly. The consensus among leading economists is we simply cannot afford not to do what I'm proposing. Independent, respected institutions from around the world, from the Federal Reserve to the International Monetary Fund, have underscored the urgency. Even Wall Street firms have reinforced the logic. If we invest now boldly, smartly, and with unwavering focus on American workers and families, we will strengthen our economy, reduce inequity, and put our nation's long-term finances on the most sustainable course. And where we're making permanent investments recurring investments. As I said in the campaign trail, we will pay for them by making sure that everyone pays their fair share, not punishing anybody. You can do it without punishing a single person by closing tax loopholes for companies that ship jobs overseas.
What's a closed tax loophole?
90 of them, the top Fortune 500, to pay zero in federal income taxes. Asking everyone to pay their fair share at the top so we can make permanent investments to rescue and rebuild America. It's the right thing for our economy. It's the fair thing. It's the decent thing to do. We not only have an economic imperative to act now, I believe we have a moral obligation. In this pandemic, in America, we cannot let people go hungry. We cannot let people get evicted. We cannot watch nurses, educators, and others lose their jobs. We so badly need them. We must act now and act decisively. My fellow Americans, the decisions we make in the next few weeks and months are going to determine whether we thrive in a way that benefits all Americans, whether we stay stuck in a place where those at the top do great, while economic growth for most everyone else is just a spectator sport, and where American prospects dim, not brighten. These investments will determine whether we reassert American leadership.
Can you guys hear?
Outcompete our competitors in the global economy. We're better equipped to do this than any nation in the world.
Can you hear? Can you guys hear?
Watch them catch up and pass us by. Together, I know which path we'll choose. That includes all Americans, so we can own the 21st century. But even with all these bold steps, it's going to take time to get where we need to be. There will be stumbles, but I will always be honest with you about both the progress we're making and what setbacks we meet. And here's the deal. The more people we vaccinate, the faster we do it, the sooner we can save lives and put this pandemic behind us and get back to our lives and our loved ones. And the sooner we can rescue and rebuild the American economy, the biggest and most profitable engine in the world. I know it's been nearly a year that tested us beyond measure. For all of you who have lost someone, my heart goes out to you. I know that feeling looking at an empty chair across the table. All of you who fall on hard times. I know you can never get back what you lost. But as your president, I know that every day matters and every person matters. From the very first to the nearly 400,000 lost American souls and counting, to the millions of you just looking for a fighting chance in this economy, I promise you, we will not forget you. We understand what you're going through. We will never, ever give up. And we will come back. We'll come back together. We didn't get into all this overnight. We won't get out of it overnight. And we can't do it as a separated and divided nation. The only way we can do it is to come together as fellow Americans, as neighbors, as the United States of America. And when we do, there's nothing beyond our capacity. I've said this many times. When America acts as one, there's never been a single thing we've been unable to do, no matter how consequential the issue has been. Out of all the peril of this moment, I want you to know, I give you a word, I see the promise as well, seeing clearly what we face now. Not being so optimistic about America. As optimistic as I've ever been. We have everything we need, but the will must be demonstrated. So come Wednesday, we begin a new chapter. Vice President-elect and I will do our best to meet all the expectations you have for the country and the expectations we have for it. I'm confident. I'm truly confident. Together, we can get this done and come out better off than when we went into this crisis. God bless you all. May God protect our troops. Have you heard from the parliamentarian about
Answer their questions.
Will bifurcation work with this agenda and
Okay, guys, I'm gonna do a recap about everything that's going on. Oh, you don't forgot his mask. So that might be the end. So what's the takeaway on that? And I want to pull up this quick article real quick that's already been written. So we did hear $1,400 stimulus check per person. So which means it could include children. Also, what we heard was $15 a minimum wage. So $15 a minimum wage. So let me just pull up this document right here. Okay. So let's see what we got, what we're looking at. So yeah. So we heard, and I will do a recap video, guys, just in case. So we did hear $1,400 stimulus check per person, which includes children. Let's see if I can make this pop this into a PowerPoint real quick. So we did hear the $14 per person per children. We also heard 15 or minimum wage. He wants to increase minimum wage to $15 an hour. So the main takeaway, what he's saying is like, oh, we all have to work together. So if you guys were hearing that often, he said all work together. So it does not look like it's going to be a $2,000 stimulus check. What it's looking like, it's going to be an additional $1,400 stimulus check. So I took notes while it was playing, so I'm gonna try to pop this into a PowerPoint right now. And what we also did here is that it could include per children as well. So let's try to actually make this a dark PowerPoint. And then let's see more things. We want it black. So I just want to make sure you guys can see this. So okay. Okay. Okay, so you guys can see this. Oh no. Okay. So one thing I did hear him say was that $1,400 stimulus check per person, which includes children. So that's one thing we heard. We also heard increase minimum wage to $15 an hour. So I'm still reading this as we go. We're all learning this together. I will post a recap video as well. How to reverse text in PowerPoint. Oh, wait. Yeah, so Okay, so I thought that worked. So we're looking at $1,400 stimulus check per person, which includes children. He also mentioned $15 in federal minimum wage, and also what's really important, more eviction protection. So there's also a mention of eviction it looks like there was also a mention of eviction protection. So that's what is another good thing that we heard. I wish I could flip the camera on you. But that's another good thing we heard. So on Wednesday, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are getting sworn into office. Biden is mainly asking that everyone comes together. So that's what he's really mainly asking for, that everyone comes together so that we can, this decision can be made together. He also wants to focus on $20 billion to create a national vaccine distribution program that would offer free shots to all U.S. residents, regardless of immigration status. It also looks like I-10 married to a citizen will receive $1,400 stimulus checks. We're also looking at a child tax credit of $3,600 per child under 6. A $3,000 tax credit. $3,000 tax credit per child 6 to 17 years old. Unemployment to $400. Unemployment to $400 through September 30th. And then currently SNAP benefits should be at, it looks like it's at 15%. Okay. So currently SNAP benefits looks like it's at 50%. So they're looking to extend that to September 30th. And then I'm going to look at this article right here, where I'm YouTube live on this one. Interesting. So unfortunately, there was no mention of the student loans that I saw, but there is about 130 billion will go to grade schools to help them hire additional staff to reduce class size, modify spaces, and purchase resources to help them meet students' academics. So I'm gonna kind of read this article that I'm looking at now, and yeah, so I'm gonna kind of read this article right now about what exactly is going on. So here are the major parts of so it's supposed to cost 1.9 trillion, Biden's relief plan. And here's kind of the major parts. So President-elect Joe Biden, and guys, if you're watching on YouTube, give it a like. Hi everybody, welcome. President-elect Joe Biden, 1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief plan is designed to both pump money into the economy and contain the coronavirus. So this plan is supposed to pump, he wants to do two things with this plan. He wants to do two things. He wants to pump money into the economy, and he wants to contain the coronavirus, everything that's going on with the coronavirus right now. So the plan includes a wave of new spending, including more direct payments to household, an expansion of jobless benefits, more money for state and local governments, and an expansion of vaccinations and virus testing program. The proposal also calls for a $15 federal minimum wage and more eviction protections. So that's what's kind of going on right now. I'm going to continue to reading this. And guys, the reason why I am following this so closely, I have to, because I, prepare taxes myself. I'm also a business. Guys, if you need help with your taxes at all, make sure you go to the link in my bio and click hire me. And make sure you fill out that application. When you get to the bottom, say, yes, I need help now. This Biden's plan is called American Rescue Plan. Okay, so he's naming this plan the American Rescue Plan. It comes as deaths from the coronavirus hit record levels and local governments expand lockdowns to stem the pandemic's spread during the winter months. New unemployment claims surged in the latest weekly count by the most since March, and the economy lost 140,000 jobs in December. So the plan, if enacted, would rival the $2 million March 2020 CARES Act in size and scope and follow a $900 billion December relief package. Biden expects to propose a second economic recovery plan in the coming weeks. So looks like there's going to be yet another one. Okay, so he did mention build it was called like Build Back Better America. So it looks like he's going to come another one in the coming weeks, and then this was going to be aimed at longer term job creation and development goals such as climate change. Some of Biden's key provisions, including the stimulus payments, job benefits, and $15 minimum wage, could likely be passed using a fast-track process known as budget reconciliation. Well, we just saw that. So he's hoping that America comes together so that this gets passed together. Okay? So here are the key items that, Biden talked about. The plan includes a central promise of Democrats, boosting direct payments to individuals to $2,000 for most Americans, on top of the $600 that Congress already approved in December. So it looks like these additional stimulus checks could actually be $1,400, okay? So it looks like they're going to be $1,400. Biden plan includes a $20 billion to create a national vaccine distribution program that would offer free shots to all U.S. residents, regardless of immigration status. So Biden said he wants to give out 100 million vaccination shots in 100 days. He said 100 for 100. That's his problem. That's his promise. All right. So then the plan also includes state aid, which is pushing for $350 billion in funding assistance for state, local, and territorial governments, plus $20 billion for public transit system, unemployment insurance. Biden's plan would extend and expand unemployment benefits that are scheduled to run in mid-March. The proposal increases a weekly federal benefit to $400. So it looks like he wants to increase the unemployment benefits to $400. So originally, right now, it's at thank you for those gifts. So originally, right now, it's at $300. Looks like he wants to increase that to $400 and wants to run that to the end of September. So it looks like the unemployment benefits, which are currently scheduled to end in March, looks like he wants to schedule that out to September. Minimum wage is another pretty big thing in his package. Minimum wage is another pretty big thing. Biden is calling to more than double the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour from $7.25. A proposal that could alienate Republicans. In addition to, that's what he wants, okay? So I'm not going to get into all the politics. I'm reading this from Bloomberg. I think he gets lower minimums to employees that get tips. So, and then employees that receive tips at $2.13 an hour, so your minimum wage would now be $15 an hour. So typically, if you don't make the what minimum wage as you're working as a server, your new minimum wage will be $15 an hour. And then we're also looking at tax credits for childcare. So Biden would expand tax credit for low-income middle families and make them refundable for 2021. He is proposing to expand the child tax credit to $3,000 from $2,000. So pretty much what that means is when you have a child tax credit, the original credit is $2,000. So it's potential when you file your tax return, your 2020 tax return, you will see, and then you typically get a refund, you can see an additional $1,000 on your refund. So you can see an additional $1,000 on your 2020 tax return. Children under age 6 would be eligible for $3,600. So if you have a child under age 6, $3,600 for a 2020 tax return. And then we see something for rental assistance. So the proposal would extend eviction and foreclosures through September. So it looks like eviction protection and foreclosure protection all the way to September 30th. So that's another thing that we're looking at. And then Biden is proposing to leverage $35 billion in government funds into $175 billion in low interest loans. So he's looking at giving more loans and more grants to small businesses. So more loans and more grants coming to small businesses. So that's kind of where we're looking at right now. I will post a video. Of course, I'll shoot a TikTok kind of going over that once again. But yeah, I just want to go live real quick so we can cover this live. Yeah. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to end both of these lives, and I will be back at 8 p.m. Central Time. But the reason why I wasn't live with you guys today is because I wanted us, all watch it together. So another thing, guys, the reason why I'm following this so closely, because I do own a tax business myself. I prepare tax myself, and I work with amazing people. So if you are a small business owner, or you're going to need help with your taxes this year, whether your books are bad, whether you need bookkeeping, you're going to want to use the link in my bio. There's a link in my bio that says hire me. Fill out that form. If you want help quickly, make sure you say, yes, I need help now. Tax season is coming up quick. The last thing you want to do is to wait to the last minute to find a tax professional. So make sure you go to the link in my bio, click hire me, fill that out, and we'll get you taken care of. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, there's 61 of you guys watching and only 21 likes. Let's change that before I end it. I will be back on this live at 8 p.m. Central Time. So what I'm trying to do right quick is probably grab something to eat real quick. I'm going to post a video. So if you want the recap, I will post the recap on TikTok shortly after this. So once again, guys, I'll see you guys later. So I'll see you guys at 8. Bye-bye. All right, I'll see you guys at 8, okay? I'll be back at 8. All right, I'll be back at 8, YouTube. I'm going to go eat and record a video real quick. Bye-bye. Thank you guys for joining. If you haven't liked, give me a like, please.